This episode of Trials and Trebuchets is brought to you by Fanroll Dice. If you're in the market for some new, top-notch dice, and who am I kidding, folks? We're all always on the prowl for some shiny rocks, then look no further than fanrolldice.com. Whether it's their bewitching liquid cores, a pack of trusty misfit medals, or even a set of oh-so-endearing miniature dice, you'll find anything you're looking for and more at fanrolldice.com. And don't forget to use our code TRIALS10 at checkout for 10% off your order of new little crit machines. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 224 of Trials and Trebuchets. I'm your dungeon master of this brand new arc. It's been so long, it's been since December, and joining me are my players whose names are...
Hello everybody, and my name is Ben, and I play the level 11 gnome wizard.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. You were playing the level 10, you died.
Oh, right.
Now, though, because it's
Now.
we get to level up, so you're all level 12. Go ahead and do that right now. Woo.
Oh my god, level 12 gnome wizard Windsor Wallaby, and his cuddly companion Mr. Wiggles.
That was a really rewarding conversation with a god.
Gained 2 levels from
Is
talking to
Mr.
God.
Wiggles alive still?
Well, yeah, of course he's still alive, he
never
just
died.
hasn't been summoned.
Hi, I'm Ployer number 2, Carla.
Nope. Bleep.
No.
Carla, and I play the level 12 Tiefling Roguelock Integrity Idle Berry, level 9 Rogue, level 3 Warlock. Winsler's alive to the sound of pleading.
The same joke 2 episodes in a row. People just listen to that,
Wait.
Carla.
Did I make that joke already?
You did, I didn't know you were recording for it.
Oh, fuck! I'm an original. I'm a fake. Fire me now.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I play Miramar Sean, the level 12 half-elf bard.
Wow.
And I'm just happy to have Winsler back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Simple.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I play the level 12 human sorcerer, Serenep Cinderman. It's going great. We got our friend back, and now nothing bad's gonna happen.
Nothing bad's gonna happen.
Nothing
That's the name of the arc.
Yep.
Nothing bad's
This
gonna
arc is going to be called Peas and Quit. And last time on Trials and Trebuchets, the students sailed the astral sea, or in less grand terms, boated down the astral river, dealt with the woods witch Selty, and spoke with a deity of untold power, and had a nice drink with them, and most importantly of all, what we were all waiting for, brought Winsler Wallaby back to the land of the living, where he could breathe in fresh air and continue living his little gnomish life. It feels so good to be in a new arc, y'all.
The fresh
I
arc
agree.
smell.
Speaking
I feel fresh.
of the smell, we can begin there. Thank you so much, Ben. You smell the sometimes sour, sometimes earthy scents from outside the office you are all sitting in the zoology department. 8 chairs are on this side of the cramped office, and with 8 chairs, it is quite cramped, all arranged in a line, all old, wooden, and creaky. Along the walls, a couple of very, very sturdy-looking bookshelves carrying massive, when I say massive, we're talking tomes upwards of a foot in width, thousands of pages of information contained there within, all of which chained to these wonderful, sturdy bookshelves. A person resolute to keep their information theirs. Sitting on the top and sitting at in the corner, there's a couple of bird cages, little yellow bird and little white bird go tweet, tweet in the background. The rest of this office is genuinely austere. Plain walls, unadorned, no carpet on the floor, a plain wooden desk with nothing upon it but a single piece of paper. The 4 of you are seated. No, we can't start the arc like that. The 4 of you are sitting in one of these each, not all of you piled onto one, sitting in these 8 chairs, amongst them 4. Could we go down the line, starting at the left with Integrity Idleberry? Could you please describe yourself for us at the start of this new arc?
Integrity is still an orange tiefling with red and black hair, half red, half black. I think at this point she got a little bit of a haircut, like a bob, a bob cut, no, like just like to the shoulder. Sorry, I hate being the first. I had like such like a great start that Windsor's alive. She is wearing what season is it?
It is the 15th day of spring, the beginning of the second start of the first semester.
Perfect. So she's wearing like a white and black striped top, with some black tweed skirt, and tights, and some very nice, cute boots from his parents.
Some very tall horns.
Some very tall horns, we can't forget.
Perfect.
Oh, and like a very tiny tail.
Like
thin tail, but long.
the tail is mentioned in canon for the first time.
Oh my god.
It's been so long.
Tail truthers, eat your hearts out. Sitting next to you, Integrity Idleberry. Second from the left. It's difficult to tell how tall as he is sitting in a chair, but he's wearing a seemingly buttoned up a white shirt tucked into some trousers which are ripped at the knees and reveal scaly legs down beyond. He looks quite cramped compared to the rest of you, quite much larger than the last time you saw him. Well, maybe not, but before winter break. You see sitting next to you, Integrity, Morundine Purebone. His arms are crossed in front of him. He looks a bit hunched in the chair, trying to make it as comfortable as he possibly can. On his right, Amira Marchand.
The start of every arc, I know we're gonna do this, and the start of every arc, I'm like wildly unprepared.
Same. If it's not obvious.
So Mira Marchand is a 5'8" half elf. She has dark skin. It's been a little bit. I think she's styled her hair a little bit differently. I think she has it in these box braids, as you might recognize from Faint of Heart, but I think she has her braids styled in like a high ponytail, all of them together.
Very
I think
cool.
she's wearing like a pink tank top that is a little bit for slightly warmer weather than this, but she's optimistic. She's wearing like a plaid green skirt with some like knee-high socks. You can see like the straps that are keeping her prosthetic arm attached to her body. She's wearing like some penny loafers and kind of kicking her legs as she sits here.
Perfect. To the right of you, Mira Marchand, an empty chair. Right of that, we see one Serenepth Cinderman.
So Serenepth Cinderman is still a 6-foot tall human. Her hair has grown out a little bit, enough that she can like more properly tie it at the back of her head now, and like a little ponytail. As we know, got a couple more scars that at this time, I think she's just wearing one of those shirts where it's like the sleeve of it kind of comes over the shoulder.
Yes.
Just kind of like it's like some nice kind of puffy sleeves, and she's wearing just some, I would say like pretty basic dark brown trousers.
Of course.
And wearing, I guess, some flats.
Perfect. Fair skin, light blue scales of subdermally visible to the keen-eyed and the non-keen-eyed alike. Sitting next to you, to your right, Serenepth Cinderman, is an elf. Tannish skin, though it is quickly fading, unfortunately. Hair is partially matted and styled in a mullet. Eyes kind of squinting a bit, almost like someone didn't properly sleep last night. Dirty-ass shoes, dirty-ass pants, mud stained completely all over herself, a shirt that smells like it hasn't been washed in a day or two, probably. Sitting here, leaning back, looking all to the world, Ira Alaro is, as if she's about to kick her feet up, maybe onto the desk or something. Maybe if the rest of you were not here, who knows what she would do. To her right, Winsler Wallaby.
Winsler is got his traditional, like, loose curly haircut. The glasses look new.
Oh.
They look a little, I guess maybe a little bigger.
Okay.
They're bigger and they're round, but they don't seem to
Yes.
have like a frame, so it's just kind of like.
Okay. So like little brassy bits holding to the side and then a little bridge, but just these massive lenses otherwise.
Yeah, and he's wearing a checkered pink and yellow sweater vest with white sleeves. And he's got some like old rustic looking jodhpur boots.
Okay. Nice outfit. Cat in the lap or
brand
no?
new.
No cat?
Your cat. We'll have cat. Cat on the lap.
Cat on the lap. Little gray cat, feet tucked under, purring ever so softly, eyes shut. To your right is a plain-looking young man, the palest snow-like skin you've ever seen, dark eyes with massive bags underneath, dark hair, probably just above shoulder length and messy. He's a halfling, probably only like 2.5 feet tall, feet not touching the ground. He has like a caustic burn on his lower, like on his chin, going down his like throat or neck, I guess you would call it. The throat's inside. Is Veldin Deep like a great character who everyone loves. The 7 of you sitting in your 8 chairs are here. On the other side of this desk at which you're sitting is a stout dwarven woman, hair pulled back in a bun, scars all up her very muscular forearms and on her face and stuff. A gruff-looking expression, kind of squinting at you all, sizing each one of you up. Eyes lingering for quite a time on you, Winsler Wallaby. You recognize across this table from you the second year mentor, Dessa Truebeard.
Mm-hmm.
She has her fingers steepled. She checks her watch once, as you've all been waiting here already 10 minutes in a kind of awkward silence. And she will say, and slam her hand down on the desk. Say, I suppose we can just begin. I guess I will have to meet up with Karina at another time. I hope that the first day of your semester, take 2, has been going fantastically. And she looks at you, Winsler, for a long time, an awkward amount of time, and then pulls her eyes away and
pulling
goes,
at the collar of my sweater vest a little bit.
Yeah, and she goes, we did not, due to circumstances, and she looks again at you, Winsler Wallaby, have a chance to meet during the first try of the spring semester this year. But I found it prudent to schedule this as early as possible so as to nip in the bud any other circumstances that might prevent us from having this meeting again. As 4 of you know who you are. Artis Artesian is on sabbatical. Until such time that he fully returns from his sabbatical, I, Dessa Truebeard, will be taking over the responsibility of being your mentor, both in research and in life at large. A role I feel as though it might have been lacking for you all, but I won't say such things about my good friend. She leans back and will say, now, my 3 students, you already know this stuff, and so we'll just be going over things that you already know. But the other 4 of you, I am not as quite relaxed as my good friend Artis Artesian. I have a few very minor, and she takes time, stares at you, Winsler, stares at you, Serenap, stares at you, Mira, stares at you, Integrity. Very minor ground rules.
I'm going to pull out my book and a pencil.
Yeah.
Integrity is just going to like put her hand like under her chin and stares right at her,
Like charming, like
ready to listen.
Okay.
No, like okay, I'm ready to listen to what these rules are.
What about you, Mira and Serenap?
I'm not taking notes and I'm not leaning forward to take special notice, but I am listening.
Okay. Serenap?
Serenep doesn't have a whole notebook, but she does take like her little like journal that she makes notes in anyway.
Mm-hmm.
She just opens that up and it's like a small little thing in her, just like in her palm.
Of course.
Just to start right.
Dessa is seeing all of you, will then, with a stubby finger, push it down onto the page in front of her, and she'll go, simple terms and conditions, simple ground rules. First and foremost, and she looks at the empty seat, there's to be no infighting while you are my students under my mentorship. Please, if there is business between anyone here, settle it before, well, let's say, the end of the day, permanently, forever.
I side-eye
Bury the hatchet.
Morundine.
You side-eye Morundine, Morundine side-eyes you, Morundine then side-eyes Integrity Idleberry, Ira side-eyes you, Mira Marchand, very inconspicuously. Veldon looks over at you, Winsler, and goes, I don't know what that's about.
I am staring into the void.
I look over at the empty chair and look kind of sad.
The empty chair looks back at you, and it is a hard look.
Damn.
Dessa then leans back. Second, very important, there will be no, except for very obvious circumstances, there will be no leaving campus. That means no field trip. That means no visits to other cities. That means no impromptu field trips. And she looks at you, Winsler. That also means no visiting family, unfortunately. I apologize for this. There will be a small summer
So
break.
it's kind of like house arrest.
There'll be a small summer break after the exams in the summer, but you will be locked here with me, unfortunately.
As an attendant
academics
to
often should.
Alla Algrim, I
Yes.
think my duties might sometimes take me elsewhere. It's unavoidable.
Well, you will need to provide me a note from Alla Algrim in the event of that, please and thank
Let's
you.
get a doctor's note.
I'm sure if you are her employee, it will be no problem whatsoever, okay?
I'll
Okay,
ask.
Perfect. Second or third, wherever we are on the list. No poking your nose into mysterious business. Keep your nose to yourself, okay? Else it'll be a cut off. Understand?
Integrity puts her nose on the table.
She goes, and then flicks you in the nose really hard. She goes, keep your nose to yourself. I'm not going to warn you again. No pranks and funny business. I don't like pranks and funny business. Okay? This is going great. If a terrible incident happens on campus, what do? Mira.
Run.
Tell a mentor.
Perfect. Tell me. Thank you. Me
I'll
specifically.
tell you. You
Do not
specifically.
just tell a random professor, please, God.
We would never do that.
We aren't going to discuss this outside of this room, but I assume you've tried such things in the past. We've seen how the school fails all of us all the time. Yes. Again, does not leave the room. Please and thank you.
Understood.
Finally, I know this matter attends to only a few of you. There will be no academic strikes under my supervision. It means no cheating on exams, no taking the place of another person and doing their exam for them because they are too brain dead to do their exam for themselves. And obviously there's extenuating circumstances around other girls that they want to spend time with. And she
Oh,
looks
it's
at you
okay.
and
We're
goes,
dating now, so I don't need to.
Oh,
Holy
sure.
shit.
Who the heck would
Taps
do
her
that?
finger. Who would do that? There will be no academic scandals such as,
But that
You
was
know
a
what
fun
I'm talking-
party.
you four know what I'm talking about, right? No.
Yeah, Morundine.
He looks at you and goes, what the hell did I do? She taps her finger and goes, hush. No potlucks.
No potlucks?
No potlucks.
Damn.
Wait, but
In quotation
Wait,
marks.
how can we share food? How can... No potlucks?
Well, you know, the potluck.
No pot.
Oh, yeah,
No potlucks.
After that original potluck, we would never think of doing a ritual to put a soul into a dead body.
Oh, that's what
She
you
looks
meant.
to Veldon, Ira, and Morundine in turn and says, hush. These things don't leave the room. These things never happened, apparently, according to the council, or so they want us to think. Any questions?
I don't think so.
Want a semester and change of peace and quiet? If I do not get that, I will do everything in my power.
To expulsion us?
I wouldn't say in such broad terms. And she lets the silence hang.
I'm looking.
Now, any questions?
No. Your rules are loud and clear.
Very straightforward. We would never
Very
even think about breaking them.
Can we
And
at
I
least
smile.
go outside if it's on campus?
As long as you are on campus, sure.
I really like that.
Beneath campus is a completely different story. Right now, we're in the zoology building. We are in the basement. Please do not be smart asses to me. I'm not
Do
some
not
old
be smart.
kook. You can go in basements, in departments, and such other things. I'm sure the archive has something for you. I'm sure this building has something for you.
What about the
Other
chapel?
places- what about the chapel?
Can
you
we go into the
explain
basement
your
there?
question? You can go into the basement in the chapel by all means.
Okay, thank you.
Is that
Both chapels?
Both chapels?
Please don't go into the basement of the current chapel, please, as it is off limits, you might find, after students were rooting around in it and crawling under the floor. If it is open to you and not a locked door, and not someone's office that they forgot to lock, or the dorm room that they forgot to lock, I would... you are all adults. You can exercise your brains and use caution. I trust you to make responsible decisions. And again, I will remind you, a semester and change of peace and quiet.
I'm gonna whisper to Marundine, what about windows? Are we allowed to go through people's windows?
He giggles to himself, and Dessa glares at you. She then pulls a quill out of one of her drawers.
We are so testing her patience.
And push it over, first to you, Integrity Idleberry, and hand you a large swan feather quill. I'll say, everyone's signatures. Again, I will get Miss Lindman's signature at another time, obviously. She's too busy for us.
Are we using blood to sign this?
No.
Oh.
She reaches in the drawer, pulls out a little jar of ink.
Not everything needs blood to be signed with.
Passes it over to you.
Thank you for clarifying.
That's what I am
Integrity
here for.
signs.
Integrity signs. You push it over to Marundine. Marundine signs. He pushes it over to you, Mira.
Yep,
And
I'm gonna cast.
He holds the fucking quill out for a second, waiting for you to grab it.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast Mage Hand and grab it with my Mage Hand.
Your mage hand tries to grab it, and he just holds onto it as hard as he can, and then he'll shoot you a glare, and then let go of it as your mage hand snatches it out of his hand.
Yeah, my Mage Hand snatches it with the maximum amount of force that a Mage Hand can muster, which is not much, but it's much more about just like the sentiment.
Yes,
Grabbing it out of his
a little
fucking
bit
hand.
of ink like shoots off it as it shoots into the air. A splotch of ink lands on his shirt, and he goes quietly under his breath.
Sorry,
You
and I
mage
signed my
hand,
name with the Mage
sign
Hand.
your name. You push it over to the empty space where Karina Lindman ought to be. Sarup, you can lean forwards and grab it.
I will sign it with a little flourish and pass it off to the next person.
Pass it to Ira. Ira signs just her first name in the shittiest handwriting you've ever seen. She pushes it to you, Winsler.
I will sign it.
You sign it. You push it to Veldon.
Very simply.
Veldon very quickly signs it as well. He has a big, stupid smile on his face, and he passes it back. He slides it back, and she goes, great. Now, there are research duties, as there are 8 of you. Those are going to be very minimal over the next couple of weeks and the semester. I just need one of you, probably an hour every night, to help with eggs. Okay?
An hour?
I want to do that.
An hour. We are going to take shifts, everyone. But you can accompany
Can I
one
go
another.
first?
You can.
Are we sitting on them?
Do we draw straws for this?
Like chickens?
Artist never made us do anything.
gonna-
It was great.
Yes, I am aware.
Are we gonna
I'm
make them
aware.
hatch?
The end goal is not to make them hatch. It is to keep them in egg as long as possible. It is testing a theorem about egg and temperature and hatching temperature.
So our research project will now be what you're doing.
Yes, because I am understanding that Artesian, my good friend, was very unfocused in his research with you all.
Did we have a research project? I don't remember.
This is exactly what I am talking about. Yes.
We had a research
You left no
project.
notes. You left
just,
no
you
notes
know,
for me.
Almost died when we were doing it, so we kind of stopped.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay. Okay. Sorry, you already signed it, but I need to add another amendment. Please do not get me killed by any means whatsoever.
Oh, you've
Please
got
and
it.
thank you.
Oh,
Do we have to re-sign it?
No.
Okay.
This is a verbal contract because we wouldn't want such things to be seen by counselors
Mentor.
and administration.
that makes sense. Although I think Artist dying is not really our fault. He just...
Yeah, that's what happens when we're not
He
on
was
campus.
really unlucky.
Strange thing.
I think you're very lucky, Dessa.
Oh, I agree. I was very lucky until I got chosen as his successor for taking care of you all.
It's very offensive.
My life flashed before my eyes every day.
Hey, you're really in the artist mindset.
She does throw her head back and laugh at that.
It's kind of surreal. You get used to it.
She slams a hand down on the table and she goes, okay, you all know responsibilities. You know the ground rules. Okay, so beef squash. Marundine Purebone, it is to my understanding that your study buddy and you do not get along. Please apologize. And Marundine opens his mouth and he's like, and he looks over you, Mira, and he goes, I'm very sorry about all the times I was trying to help you as your study buddy, and all the times that I wasn't your study buddy and I was rude to you.
Thank you. Oh, I'm supposed to. Oh.
Mira Marchand, it is my understanding that you, as Mirandine's study buddy, also have beef to squash. Please apologize.
I'm sorry, Mirandine Purebone, for wanting to be in clubs.
Is that it?
Yes.
The silence ends. Dessa has a little smirk on her face, and she goes, Integrity I Idleberry.
Yes.
Is my understanding you owe Mirandine Purebone and Velden Deep Lake 20 gold pieces worth of snacks. Please pay the man 20 gold pieces. It does not need to be snacks. I'll nullify the agreement. Please pay him. Squash beef.
I don't need to give the cash. I already got some snacks.
Okay, give him food. Yes.
And I go to the bottom of my bag since it's been a few,
It's been a couple days, yeah.
It's been a few days. It's gone through shit. Well, I didn't actually bring it with me, but it's probably like stale at this point. But I'm just going to hand each of them something.
What do you hand? What is it?
I get them like chocolate covered pretzels. I got them lollipops. I got them some chips.
Perfect. I assume from off campus, right? Because or else you would only be able to get like a chip for 20 gold pieces.
Yeah.
You hand these things to Mirandine and you hand a smaller parcel to Velden. He takes it. He's like, oh my God, this is the greatest day. I forgot that this happened. I forgot we were owed this. And Mirandine looks at you and goes, thank you. And he puts it under his chair. Dessa looks pleased and content with herself. And then she looks at Ira Alaro. First she looks at the empty chair and she goes, we'll squash whatever is going on with her at a later date. It will be more difficult than what we are doing here. Ira Alaro, it is my understanding that you don't like Mira Marchand for reasons that you failed to mention, but I can't help but see your glares.
Wait, you don't like me?
Ira looks at you and looks at Dessa. She looks like a fucking deer caught in the headlights. And she goes, Mira's fine. I don't. And she goes, Dessa puts a hand up and goes, don't lie to me. Please just apologize for whatever weird thing happened. I don't know what it even was.
Is this because of the duel or because of getting your mom fired? I'm sorry for both.
Dude! Hangs over the room. Dessa's eyes, she goes, ah.
I'm gonna put my book in front of my face to hide.
I'm just hunkering down in the chair why am I here?
I'm gonna whisper to Mirandine, it's probably the second one, right?
Ira doesn't look at you, Mira, and just says, I'm very sorry for my feelings of ill contempt about how your relationship with my mother, that sounds so weird, proceeded. And also the duel thing, you were really rude to me. And
sorry,
you should apologize.
it was my first year.
She should have to apologize to Velden too, because she was really rude.
I was? I didn't remember that.
Velden's like, I don't know. It was okay.
Yeah, sorry about all of those things. I really wanted to win that duel, and I thought you were being rude to me, so then I was trying to be rude back, but I totally misread your signals. And also, I'm sorry for your mom being involved in the whole bringing people back from the dead thing and subsequently getting fired. I feel really bad about that, genuinely. Yes. Okay.
Moving on, beef squash. Without Karina here, I think that's about everything. Can anyone else think of anything that we need to bury?
I would like to say sorry to all of you if I ever tried to outcompete. That's for the past and for the potential future. But it seems like after having signed that contract, I will have to say sorry again if I do it in the future.
Sounds great. One final thing before I release you all to your own devices. Mr. Winslow Wallaby.
Yeah?
Welcome back to school.
Thank you.
Life.
It's good to be back.
I don't understand the circumstances by which you returned.
It's probably best you don't ask.
I agree very much. I was worried you were about to tell me right then. Don't. And she puts a hand up to you, Mira and Serenap, and Integrity. She goes, don't, please. I don't want to know. And then looks back to you, Winslow, and goes, I hope that the year and the semester goes better for you. If you have any problems, please come to me immediately, okay?
Okay.
Truthfully. Okay. That's it. I'm going to make copies of this and send it to each of you. I want you to hang it somewhere you'll see it every day so that you're reminded that you're to give me peace and quiet. But beyond that, you're all free to go.
Thank you, Dessa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No worries.
I'm going to like nudge Integrity as soon as we're out of earshot from Dessa and be like,
Of course.
so next time we go on a field trip, where do you want to go? Because I really want to go to Fairstyle because I've always wanted to do a beach vacation there, but like...
I think that would be
what are y'all
really,
talking about?
really
Oh,
fun.
sneaking off campus.
Again?
Guys.
Well, at some point, it's basically an inevitability, right?
I mean, I
We
guess.
just want to go to the beach. Do you know how to swim?
Yeah, I grew up in a lake town.
The swimming in
But
mud
I don't know
count?
if I can get this wet.
I grew up in the middle of a lake. Whistler, do you know how to swim?
I've only swam in mud. Does that count?
I mean, it's
I
thicker.
mean, you'll stay in the shallow probably then.
Okay.
Do you know how to swim, Serenep?
I've had lessons,
Sounds like no.
but it's been a long time since I've actually been in water to swim.
Oh, perfect. Well, I know a place where we can learn. Oh, you guys can learn how to swim.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, there's a pool on campus, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Was
and
it
I-
actually ever
Oh,
used
yeah.
for pool-related things?
I
mean,
also
they're
swore a friend that we're going to join the swim team.
Wait, what?
All of us. And Integrity walks away.
I mean,
Wait, hold on a second.
swimming is a
And-
good exercise to do, so I
As
mean, I'm not against
Serenep
that.
bestows upon you the virtues of exercise, fade away. We're going to pick up over the course of the next set of weeks. We're going to see a few scenes. They are not by any means supposed to be one after the other. They can happen in any order they want, but we'll be seeing them in the order that we see them. We will begin with one Winslow Wallaby. I believe, Winsler, you wanted to, as the kids say, catch up on
Yes.
things. You, a fresh new man on a fresh new summer. Oh, sorry, it's spring still. Spring campus, can walk the town after classes. Of course, you can walk around. You can check out the joint, as it were. Obviously, there was a very emotional greeting with Yogg, your friend, and Kurt,
Yes.
your roommate. However, again, we're not privy to such information. What was it specifically on campus that you wanted to do, my friend?
I wanted to check in on the progress of the growth of that druid book that was planted in the archives.
Of course.
I wanted to see how that Ava Redding was doing.
Of course. A simple task, Winsler. You make your way on a warm spring evening to the Grand Archives, this massive edifice at the back of the campus. You walk in.
I still feel wary of the Modrons, even though we kind of settled our supposed beef.
You squash the beef, yeah. Winsler Wallaby, you can stride on in. Ava Redding at the front counter, this mousy woman with brown hair and red robes and circular glasses, gives you a passing wave as she hurries off to help some first-year students with some situations. You see two little spherical Modrons, elbows kind of like leaning on a bench as you walk by. They look at you. Their singular eyes following you. One of them bows their head, almost like, hey, what's up? I know you. The other one raises a little hand and goes like, hey, what's up? They don't
I'm
say
gonna
those
wave.
things. You hear little clicks from them, and they seem to regard you, Winsler, with warmth, as opposed to the usual hostilities that they observed you with.
Good. I'm glad I am no longer the most wanted person in this library.
You wander around in the western wing of the archives, nowhere in specific, almost intentionally, trying, I think, to get lost. It takes you the better part of an hour or so before just poking at books, looking here and there, trying to fool the archives into giving you what you want, as it were, before you hear like a soft whistling coming from maybe 3 rows over. You can skedaddle as quickly as your little legs can carry you. That 1, 2, 3 aisles. You scoot down. This aisle seems to be dedicated to just all manner of elemental study and physiology. You scamper down. You see a crack in the bookshelves. From within, you can smell those sweet spring smells, summer flowers, pollen,
so good.
trees dropping shit.
Okay.
What trees do. Also pollen. I just didn't want to say pollen twice. Sorry. You can stroll in and enter into a circular greenhouse, a place cut out of the archives itself, a place discontinuous with the real layout of the archives. Within it, you see a beautiful garden. There is bushes or shrubberies in the forms of unicorns and pixies and fairies, all of them where the flowers ought to be bursting and blooming. You see little books growing. At this point, they look like only small little journals, but in a couple of weeks, those will be hearty tomes ready for harvesting. You see a large tree off from the center over towards like the left side of this greenhouse. It is probably about 13 feet tall. It is completely barren except for one branch from which a single sheet of paper is kind of hanging. And over by those flower bushes, when you had originally walked in, you see two young women. One of them is a middle-aged woman with like green pulled back hair and green robes and just a full face of very well done green and cyan styled makeup. Her eyes even have like a brown cyan tinge to them. She wears a set of glasses. It is, for all intents and purposes, Ava Redding. She regards you. Her whistling and humming stops. And the woman next to her with silvery brown hair, kneeling down and helping her plant some books. You see next to them a big pile of like scrolls, a couple of tomes from the bookshelves outside of like elemental physiology and wrangling. You see two people, Ava Redding and Kyra Hagen, who both their faces both light up. Specifically Kyra, and she kind of like blinks a couple of times and like rubs her eyes and will kind of stand up, her arms or like her hands shaking a little bit as she walks over and she goes, "Holy shit, am I going crazy?" And she
y'all.
Grabs you by the face and looks down at you and like squishes your little cheeks and like pulls your ears. And then she'll let go and go like, "Oh, I'm super sorry about that."
No worries. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have that reaction.
Is it
right now?
Okay. This is a rude question. I'm very sorry for asking. You died.
That's not a question.
A question mark.
Rumors of my death were greatly exaggerated.
I can't believe that. I'm going to be quite, and she pokes you in the chest and she goes, "There was a celebration. You were in a coffin. People were crying. There was like people crying over you."
I think I'm aware, yeah.
She pokes at you again, like in your
Ow.
chest, and she goes, "You're really not like a spirit back to haunt us, right?
I'm not a ghost.
You're not a ghost.
I'm not a ghost. I mean, I could be a ghost if you wanted me to be one. Ooh.
What kind of offer is that? It's crazy seeing you." You hear a voice that goes from the back, and Ava Redding is kneeling down, and she looks at you, and she goes, and she looks away from you, and then we'll say, "Welcome to the greenhouse.
Hi, nice to see you again.
I planted the book that you wanted to grow into the tree in the corner. You can take the page and leave. I didn't read it yet."
I came by to check on the progress of it. Is that the only thing that's happened since it was planted?
She looks at you for a brief moment and nods, and she'll say, "It had leaves for 4 days, and they all withered and died."
Oh,
I think it's just waiting for that one page to be taken before it like falls over. It's really dried out."
Oh.
And then she looks back away from you, and Kyra will kind of lean in and say, "She's been being really weird about it. So."
Okay, I guess I'll go and take the page if that's all that there is.
Winslow Bowlby, you and this silvery brown-haired upperclassman, Kyra, can waltz on over. She like rubs her hands on the front of the dress that she's wearing, just ruining the beautiful floral pattern. Goodness gracious. The amount of laundry she must have to do, if not prestidigitation. Winslow, you walk over. It is slightly out of reach, and you can reach up towards it, and it's almost like the tree lowers the branch down towards you. You grab this piece of parchment. It is very thick and it's like it's probably about like a millimeter, 2 millimeters thick, so a fairly thick piece of parchment. It has like a very woody texture to it, and you can pull it off plump, almost like picking an apple out of the tree. The moment you do, the tree, you can hear like a sound of wood snapping from within, and it almost as if the tree ages probably like 2 to 3 years, and it begins to wither quite rapidly after you pluck this page.
Oh dear.
Kyra examines it for a moment and doesn't really pay you any attention, and you can look down and read this piece of paper in front of you.
Time to read.
It is a shifting strange kind of thing. You look at it and blink. At first, the letters, the wording doesn't necessarily make sense. You might detect it to be some sort of combination of Primordial and Sylvan, which I believe you don't have proficiency in Sylvan, right?
I know basic Sylvan.
Oh, you know basic Sylvan. Well, in that
from the
case,
language course.
you can very easily identify it as like some mix of Primordial and Sylvan. The longer you look at it, though, the words seem to shift on the paper. They don't look drawn on with ink. They look carved in with almost like a chisel. They shift until, and it makes this like weird whoosh, whoosh, like whooshing noise as the words shift around so that you are able to read it. You can read Druidcraft. Magic's most primal, magic's most basal. Gifted by Isethil most illuminant. To the willing who hold the hag's old ways, to the willing who bathe in the crypt, a place of worship, a place of communion, locked away in the sea. Kyra kind of peeks over your shoulder and goes, what the hell is that? I've never seen writing like that.
I think it's some sort of weird cryptic message. It's like written in like a combination of Primordial and Sylvan. I can read a little bit of Sylvan. It's kind of weird.
Weird how? Like omens, bad omens, like divination stuff?
It's like it tells the location of something that's locked away.
Like a treasure?
Maybe.
And she looks up at the tree.
I don't know what kind of treasure.
Real weird.
It's a little ominous. Well, that was rather unexpected.
And she looks at it for a second, scratches her chin a little bit, and then shrugs and goes, yeah, I mean, sometimes the stuff here doesn't really make that much sense. So maybe it was just something like that. Didn't take root very well, you know? I mean, you could probably go and try to research it, but, you know, limited stuff.
I could probably do that. I think I have some spare time, but
For
now I'll probably just keep it in my book and figure out something to do with it.
She puts a hand on your shoulder and will say, we've been waiting weeks for you to come back and see that thing. It was great seeing you.
Sorry I didn't get around earlier. I was a little tied up with some other things at the moment.
Preoccupied with other stuff.
Yeah.
Like being dead.
If you ever find something else you want to plant, or you just want to play around the dirt, and she, feel free to drop on by.
Well, maybe it'll remind me of home a little bit, playing in the dirt.
Yeah. And I'm sure Ava would love more company. And Ava looks over with a somewhat of a scowl, although it disappears after a half second, Winsler, and she makes a very pained smile towards you. With that, you can wish them well and skedaddle your way out of there. Whoosh. Next in the list, Integrity, Idleberry.
That's me.
I believe you have some, what we would say, errands to run in this order? Some people to bother to give you stuff by chance?
A couple, yes.
A couple. We find you in a hallway, standing in front of a dormitory door, one made of a thin sheet of metal, a knock, knock, knock at the door, and who opens but the Winsler Wallaby. Winsler, you see Integrity seemingly standing at your door.
Howdy, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm happy to see your face in this door. I'm
glad I'm also standing within this door in front of you now, alive and doing good.
Yeah, I just wanted to try and speak with Kurt, maybe? Is he there?
Winsler,
is Kurt here?
You peek to the side, and Kurt is sitting crouched or hunched at his desk, doing some very fiddly work on what looks like some clockwork stuff. It seems to be a little, it's like a little chess tower, or what is it called? Sarah, please help.
The rook?
The rook?
Yes, it looks like a rook. Thank you. It looks like a little clockwork rook that he's working on. It might be like about 6 inches tall, and he's like very, very fiddly with it. And he like hears this, and he like turns his ear and he goes, "No, I'm not here."
Kurt, do you have time?
No, I'm. Really
Integrity's here to see you about something.
He sets his little tinker's tools down. What looks like a little file and a little screwdriver.
I mean, you haven't left this room in like weeks. It would probably do you good to get some fresh air a little bit.
Okay, we can open the window.
I can do that for you.
Integrity, you butt in, and he looks at you and goes, and he like lets out an exasperated sigh. His shoulders slump, and he like leans forward on his desk and goes, "What do you want?"
I would like your business for something.
One of his eyes open, and he looks at you and goes, "Yes, the Orlane Wallaby Yogg Artificery is open for business. What do you need? I have a super big list of orders. And he points out a little post-it note on his like desk. There's 2 things there. Both of them you can see very quickly, peeking at it, are just both things that he himself ordered. He goes, so, we might have to wait to get to it. What can I do for you?
So the recent happenings in the school has made me realize how much of a weakling I can be.
When you say the recent happenings, his expression, that is kind of like, he is being playful as much as he is really tired and kind of like, oh, I want to get back to my stuff. When you say the recent happenings, his face does like turn a bit more serious for a moment, and he does look up to you, and he like a very quick glance to you, Winsler. Winsler, you've been noticing this constantly. Whenever people mention stuff, all the eyes just kind of drift to you for a second, and then people try to pretend like they're not doing it.
It's so weird.
And
he looks back at you, Integrity.
Would I be able to get a couple of things done from you?
You're gonna double my list of like chores.
I'm going to grab that paper with like the 2 things on it, and I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna put it in my pocket.
Yeah, he's so lethargic. You grab it and he like stands up and he goes, and then he like reaches for it. He sits down and goes, oh, head in his hand. And he goes, okay, no orders. What can I do? You're gonna pay, right? What can I do?
Yes. So I brought my armor here, and I
Yes.
would really love it if you pizzazz it to, make it stronger.
Okay.
Make it like have a stronger defense, offense. you
Yeah.
know?
That's pretty basic. You could do it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. How about this? I can do that.
Okay.
Next week, 50 gold.
Let's speak about the price later.
Okay.
Because like it's a bulk order, you might be able to give me a discount. Who
Well,
knows?
if it's 2 things on the same armor, then yeah. But if it's 2 different things,
I would also like just like a quick replacement for the holder for the knife, because it's no longer a knife. It got longer and it just doesn't.
you pull out the J dagger and he looks at it. He kind of flinches back and he goes, "That took me like 4 weeks."
I know, but you're better now, right? Like it's been a couple of months. Like,
couple of
Make a
you're
persuasion
stronger.
check.
Persuasion.
Persuasion, please. Kurt's not immune to flattery.
That's a 19.
A 19. He nods and he goes, "Okay, yeah, all true. All true. Probably 2 weeks. Probably 2 weeks now."
Okay. And
200 gold pieces
and
for that.
the last thing is,
Mhm.
I really want some rad bracers. I
Okay.
want something to do like pow, and I like put my hands up right in front of me and like try to defend myself. So are you able to make up these 3 things for me, mayhap?
Okay. So you want me to make you better armor? 50 gold pieces. Again, we can get that done next week. Listen, we got 3 employees here at the the Wallaby, Orlane, Yog. That's so cumbersome.
You know what? You could probably call it like
Yow.
Yow.
we could
Yow. The Yow Artificery. We have 3 employees. I guess. And he looks over to you, Winsler, and he goes, "Do you mind helping with some of this stuff?"
I guess I have time. I can help out.
Okay.
If you need it.
So in that case, I can do the bracers. Winsler and Yog can probably handle the knife sheath.
I give
no
a thumbs
problem. And if you want the armor, you're gonna have to, pitch in, I think.
Okay, so if I offer my services, there will be also another discount?
There'll be sure, absolutely. There'll be a deduction for some of the services. Yeah, absolutely. No problem. A member of the Artificery Lab, you were here when Yog was born even, you're already like a kind of honorary member. So you might as well make it
thank you.
official and start helping with this massive list of orders we have building.
Well, it's needed. It's necessary, Kurt. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I'm so
He
sorry
starts-
for putting more work into your hands. I'm so sorry for giving you more money. Oh my gosh, it's so my fault. I'm sorry.
He's kind of like smirking. You see him like jot down some numbers and like listing stuff, and he goes, "Okay, for materials, okay, probably around 1,300 gold pieces.
1,300? That includes my services?
That includes your services, and that includes us making a profit of only like 45 gold pieces. Okay?
1,300.
You're paying for my experience, okay? And Winsler's
that's
experience,
true.
and Yogg's experience.
Oh my god.
That's true.
And the experience you get from learning from us.
Well, the thing. Okay, does it help at all that I brought back 2 workers in your hands? Like I sort of like Winsler, like I love you, but like
You would have been down an employee without me.
Make another persuasion check, integrity. This one with disadvantage.
Oh.
disadvantage.
Yeah, this is a hard bargain.
That is a nat 1 + 6. That's a 7.
Oh.
Blinks and he goes, 1,300 and I'll pay for the tools too. So you don't have to get your own stuff.
Can you do
I only have
12
3 sets of tools. I only got 3 employees.
Can you do 1,200?
I can do 1,270.
What if I?
And then we're only.
What if I give you a loaded die?
His eye opens.
You can cheat on anything.
Oh my god.
That may require die.
Give him a
1,200 sounds great.
Okay.
And he puts his hand out for the die.
Here you go.
You hand it to him. He looks
It
at
was owned by someone very special.
I'll take really good care of it then. And he closes his
Okay.
hand around it and puts it in a drawer next to him. He slams the little drawer. Integrity, you slam your sack of leather armor down on it, and he stretches his fingers, and he goes, Winsler, lock the door. We're not sleeping tonight.
Oh man.
And the 3 of you begin your hard work at the artificery. Up next, Mir Marchand.
Hello.
I was under the impression that you had someone you wanted to find on campus.
It's true. A certain Syndra Sunfire.
Wonderful. Tell me, how do you find her? Is it that like the middle of the day you find her sitting on a park or like a courtyard bench? Do you wait outside a classroom where you know she's gonna be?
I would like to be in an enclosed space because I fear listening ears. So I feel like I probably cast some kind of locate magic, like figure out what classroom she's
course.
currently in, like
course.
hang out outside.
You go to the enchantment building. There is little nooks on the first floor that are fairly private, but do have views of like the classrooms. You wait until Syndra, she leaves the class. She's like pushing a bunch of like just fistful of loose papers into her like knapsack, and she's like ugh, and looks very frustrated. And then she's like walking tunnel vision. She seems to be going past you, Mira.
Here, let me help you with that.
And you stop her. She looks up at you and like takes a couple steps back, and she goes and shoves the papers into her knapsack, zippers it up. She puts it on her shoulder and she goes and grabs your hand and will say, Mira.
Hey.
You're just the kind of person, not just the kind of person, that makes it sound weird. You are just the person I wanted to find.
That's interesting because I also wanted to find you. I want to talk to you about something. You can also talk to me about something, but I fear prying ears.
Yes, that's very keen of you.
Great. And then Mira will like look left and right, like find a random classroom, like dive into it.
Dive into
and
it.
then she's
Lock the door.
Secrets.
Yep, she's like, wait a minute. Stand over there. And then she's going to cast silence like on the barrier, like at the door so that nothing can get through.
And then the two of you dive into this empty enchantment classroom. There is like big replica or big like dioramas of the brain with all the parts pointed out on it so that you're understanding the neuroscience of enchantment.
That's fun.
Syndra goes and sits
But
on
in
a
truth,
stool.
it is just a grim reminder of Henrietta Hudson.
She goes and sits on a stool at the far end of the room. She crosses her leg. She's like this 5 foot tall, blue skinned tiefling with dark scarlet hair, 3rd year. She steeples her fingers and waits for you. You tweet, blow a silent note from your mute flute, stuff it in a bag with reckless abandon, and then run over and sit on one of the stools facing
I think
her.
I sit on one of the desks.
Okay, you jump on the desk in front of her, and she'll like lean back in the chair, and she goes, "Okay, you feel free, go first."
Okay. So
By the way,
Yeah.
I would have voted for you.
Oh, thank you. I would have voted for you.
We should have. Thank you.
You were obviously like other than Bailey, if it was you versus Bailey, best candidate.
She makes like a weird face at the mention of Bailey, and she goes,
Yeah. We haven't really talked since then. How are you doing, by the way? Not what I came to ask you about, just
And she kind of like fidgets with her hands a little bit and doesn't make eye contact, and she goes, I mean, the day was really weird. I'm sure you feel the same way.
yeah.
And then knowing that he like died later, I just wish
Yeah.
that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It
Yeah.
hurts.
It does. So I wanted to talk to you about something because I think we're probably on similar wavelengths, which is probably why both of us ran for that election. I don't, and I look back and forth one more time, I lean in. I don't trust Headmaster Crow. And
She leans back and puts a hand in front of her mouth and like eyes wide looks at you.
And I don't fully know. Look, we did an internship in one of his, a town that he owns, and he basically turned this whole giant town into his own factory. He said some pretty ominous stuff to us. I don't think he's here for legitimate reasons, and I want to, not necessarily now, but I want to start taking steps to deal with that. And I was thinking, you're an incredibly inspiring person in the sense that you inspire others, and I feel like we can get something going here. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. So, Mira, just a note. My mind is afire with tons of ideas. But
Okay.
Talking about the crow thing. Were you here the day? It was 2 days after the funeral kind of thing. Were you still here on campus during that? Or did you already go home?
Jog my memory.
There was some like crow mercantile, like higher up folks who were doing like assessments on campus. I was still here. I was like dragging my feet about going home, and I don't know. It was just good to be on campus. It's kind of, sort of. That's beside the point. There was some weird crow mercantile like higher ups who came here and were like looking around the place. There was a lot of like, I might have eavesdropped on them.
Nice.
There was a lot of talk about the new golems. There was a lot of talk about there was a lot of looking around that build, like the divination building, the one that got like blown up, and poking through like all the old stuff down there, which just feels,
Yeah, it's suspicious, right?
It's really suspicious. I agree.
Like, this is the richest guy ever. Why is he here? What does he want? I don't like it. Look,
Did you know he has 2 seats on the council?
I know, because of the headmaster and it's so fucked up.
Horse shit.
Yeah. So, look, they disbanded the event planning committee, but they can't stop us from maybe organizing people for a different club, right? Maybe people who have similar ideas to us. I was thinking we could get maybe some of the old first years, maybe some of the more active members, and maybe some other people who,
If you're trying to organize anything, I think you need Arlie and Bowen. They're like
Definitely.
essential like background workers. Obviously, they're not like leadership material. They're nice, obviously, but
but they're essential, right?
essential.
And then there was, I had a few names I was floating around, but I was curious about your perspective. I was thinking, listen, I mean, we can call it anything. We can call it the school newspaper club. I don't know. Point being,
Newspaper club. Leans in.
I mean, it's a good front, right? I mean, you certainly, I know, right? I was thinking you probably have some ideas. You can probably get people together and look, we could, stage a protest as a distraction, break into his office. We have to bide our time, but I think we should start looking into it. Are you with me?
She leans in, puts a hand on your knee, and will say, I am right there with you. I am so glad that you came and spoke with me about this, Mira. I am so glad to be in this conspiracy with you.
What did you want to talk to me about?
Oh, I was going to propose a student union and trying to get a student voice on the council. But that's secondary now in my brain because I like this route better. It's much more discreet.
Let's do it.
Less prone to manipulation.
Yes.
Student newspaper. Do you have a cool name for it? Or is it just the student newspaper?
The Wildcliff Warbler?
Ooh.
She makes like a little like eye-open face and she goes, yeah, I'm sold. Done.
Fuck yeah. And I hold up my hand to high five her.
She high fives you. And on that slap of the high five, Serenep Cinderman.
Hello. Adding the club to my character sheet.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but your birthday lands on a certain day in the mid to late hours of the spring season. Is that incorrect or not?
That is absolutely correct.
That's correct. Now, the year previously, there was no celebrations, no grand artifice surrounding it. But this year, in light of horrible circumstances and also knowing people better, I was led to believe you would like to organize a little shindig. Not a potluck, but a shindig.
No, yeah. like, friends that we've made over the last couple years, just inviting them up to like my room. Like we'll have some food. It'll just be a nice little get together,
Now,
spending the night with my friends.
Tell me the guest list. Obviously Mira, obviously Winsler, obviously Integrity.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, some of my friends are not here. I will extend an invitation to Karina.
Okay.
I will invite Sylvie.
Mm-hmm.
I will invite... I think pretty much I'm inviting all of the kids, like all the first years, basically.
All the second
I'm
years
inviting...
now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I want to invite Delnis, of course. I guess I give you guys, the team, a +1 to join us.
Perfect.
But yeah, just to
Okay.
have a nice little get together.
Yeah. A small crowd gathers on a nice spring evening in Serenup's dormitory. A large proportion do show up. Karina Lindman, though you held out hope, Serenup the Cinderman, you've not seen her once in the entire time since you've been back on campus, nor have the rest of you. She seems to be acting quite elusively, despite Mira the fact that her sister still rests on the floor in your dormitory.
Yes.
But nonetheless, Serenup Cinderman, your hope is without reason. Karina Lindman does not appear. Folks like Sylvie, Adelnis, Lucia would absolutely love to come get some food. Folks like Kurt do show up, though he is very sleepy and eyes bloodshot throughout the whole team. Ganal does not show up. Marundine does not show up. Veldin does not show up. Ira Alaro will show up. Who else am I forgetting? Arior, everyone's favorite dwarf. I assume an invite is sent out to him as well.
Yes, of
Serenup
course.
Cinderman. He would love to come and does so show up. I'm surely forgetting someone. Alina Hollyfield does not show up.
Lucia.
Lucia already shows up, yes.
Yep.
And I think that's everyone. Yes. Angelica Lindman also doesn't show up. She's unconscious on Mira's floor. We already covered that.
I didn't
Wait,
expect.
Angelica doesn't show up? What the fuck?
A small crowd does gather at your room, though. Serenup Cinderman, what food do you offer on this wonderful birthday night? And what festivities do take place, everyone?
Well, I kind of planned it after supper, so we got our fill. So I think it's gonna be a lot of finger snacks. It's going to be some sweets, some savory. I have a little punch bowl in the middle of my table.
Yes, perfect. Wonderful. The lot of you gather around Serenup's oversized dormitory. Some of you might be thinking, wow, she still has this thing. Others among you might be thinking, I wonder if that punch is spiked. And nonetheless, is there any specific topics of conversation that come up throughout the night?
I think, besides the people who know, I don't think I talk about it being a birthday party itself. Just I just want
celebration.
everyone to hang out.
Okay.
We haven't
By
all
all
hung
means.
out.
By all means.
But I think we just sort of talk about, I heard you have this. I had that professor
small talk.
last year. That kind of stuff.
Integrity, is there something that you wanted to do at Serenup's birthday party?
Oh no.
Mira,
Yes!
can you drop a beat for us?
Oh god.
I can tap on the side of my lyre.
Okay, do that. I'm gonna show you all a dance move.
Oh god.
Sick.
Okay. Integrity gets up from the table and walks over to the foyer, pushes a bunch, kicks with her feet a bunch of boots and shoes out of the way, grabs the little foyer table and goes and scoots it, making space for dance moves. Everyone
yes.
watches on with anticipation in their eyes, drinks in hand.
Integrity standing up
Yes.
and then listening to the beat that Mira's dropping.
yes.
She's going to drop on her knees, like basically a stanky leg, a right leg down onto the floor, left leg onto the floor, and then stands up, and then does it over and over.
Okay.
Now do it with me.
Please, both of you, make performance checks for
Oh
me.
god.
I
I
must
thought
know
of
how
this
good
during
at
my
this is.
sleep.
27.
27. The
12 plus
beat is
15.
outstanding.
My performance is a 7.
Total? Yes. It
go down-
looks
Can I give you bardic
Back up.
inspiration?
You could give her bardic inspiration with the music. Go ahead and roll a d10 and add that on, Integrity Idleberry. As Mira, you
Just
say
to not embarrass myself.
yeah, Mira, do you give her some sort of you can do it?
Go integrity! Go integrity! Go
I
integrity!
tried to cheer
Idleberry!
encouragingly, yeah.
That's a 9.
That's a 9, so a total of 15. Integrity, the stanky leg is moderately stanky. You all smell the stench. It does look like a dance a woman conceived of in her sleep, with no real formal training in dancing, but the vibe is there. You know, you're rocking it. It's a party. You firmly pull people to their feet. A small dance party does unfold. And is there any other large subject matter that we must address?
Windsor break dances.
Yes! Make a performance check for me as well.
Do you have paper, Serenep?
Yes,
I'm gonna grab that and start ripping it up.
As confetti.
Okay.
Windsor Wallaby, your performance
Non-natural
check for break
20.
dance? Oh my lord. It's a great hoot. Winslow displays uncanny ability to dance in a way which you have not really perceived very much.
His time in the afterlife has granted him extraordinary ability.
100%.
Break
And
dance.
Integrity throws her ripped
up
paper
confetti.
confetti on Winsler.
Mira is going to she doesn't really need to steal it. I'm sure Serenep would willingly give it to her, but Mira's going to try to sneakily grab 2 extra slices of cake and give one to Integrity and one to herself, because they didn't get their own. They're entitled to this birthday cake. Serenep is
Enjoying the
probably not
cake.
going to care if we steal it, but she's going to try to do it.
No.
She's going to try to do it sneakily anyway.
You're all enjoying a wonderful time. Dancing, cake, drinks. It's heading late into the midnight hours, or past midnight eventually. The rabble, typically, rather, people like Lucia and Arior do excuse themselves politely. Sylvie hangs on for some time. Delnus is there looking content alongside you, Mira Marchand. The people who are not Serenep, Winsler, Integrity, and Mira, and Delnus accompanying, sit here later into the night. Maybe just talking, maybe having drinks, having some wine, having some punch.
Wine.
Yeah, Delnus only drinks wine. It's Carla. Have you not paid attention? Serenep Cinnamon.
Yep.
It's probably, or as Integrity Idleberry would be able to tell you, or a clock on the wall could be tell you, it is 1:15 in the morning. Late, as far as people who go to bed early are concerned. A knock comes at the door.
Oh,
Just one single, or I guess 2 very standard kunk.
I will get up and I'll kind of joke to something. I didn't think we were that loud as a joke, and just go over to the door.
You walk over to the door. You steady yourself after all the drinks tonight and open it, swinging inwards, standing in front of you, wearing a pristine student's robe, standing lithe, thin in the wind, a wind blowing in this hallway miraculously. Maybe someone left a window open. They're probably about, 5'8"-ish, 5'9", scraggly black hair, thin triangular face, pale skin, a very defined nose. Looks to you, Serenep. He looks to you in the eyes, and you see these golden eyes looking at you. You see the face of one Philip Maisel standing in the hallway.
Philip, return? Philip, sweep?
He very politely puts a hand out to shake your hand and will say, "Hello, Serenep. It has been a very long time since we've seen one another." And that is where we will cut the black on this episode.
Hold on a minute. Wait a minute.
Sarah, could you please give us an outro, please?
Absolutely. I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of Trials and Trebuchets. If you did, make sure to leave us a review. If you did, make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcatcher app you use. We read them all. They help us out so much.
They do.
If you would like to see teasers, maps, fan art, and other exclusive content, you can check us out on Instagram at Trials and Trebs. We also have a Discord server. You can chat with us, other listeners. Somebody made this fucking sick animatic. You can see that by searching.
It was so sick. The Babel
Trials and Trebuchets animatic on YouTube. We talked about that on the server, so premium source for your updated fan art shenanigans. For those of you who want to be a little bit extra generous, there's 2 ways you can do that. The first is the Patreon. If you support us on Patreon at patreon.com/trialsandtrebs, you'll get great perks like early access to CNC episodes, getting to vote on bonus episodes, getting to see DM notes, and in some cases even make your own NPC, like Kyra, Syndra.
Yeah.
Were there more this episode? There were at least 2.
There was gonna be, but that'll be next episode.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, Bo and Arlie got a mention.
Oh yeah, they did.
All these great people.
People you know and love.
Yes, and finally, we have merch, and that is going to be at...
Trebmerch.
Trebmerch.com.
www.trebmerch.com. What?
Yes.
Whoa.
We got Nesca shirts. We got stickers.
Stickers.
Yeah.
Lots of cool ones. New designs, get added periodically. So if you've already checked it out, you might want to check it out again. It's a good time. Thank you so much. We are excited to see you next week.
Yep. Bye.
Bye, everybody.